Let's talk about the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs that I think really had a key impact this postseason run. That's what we're going to talk about. The entire postseason run, the impact he had in 3 games that ended up all being close games, and he had an impact in every single one, sometimes in different ways though. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with the play you see on the screen. It's going to be an option play, or at least it looks like an option play. My guess is the play was always designed to get the ball to Pacheco, but they're kind of using the threat of a Mahomes run here to their advantage, where him and Pacheco are going to run towards the offense's left, which is towards the right side of the screen, and you see the edge rusher on this play for Jacksonville, Trayvon Walker, he's getting left unblocked here. Watch how the play begins. You see that Mahomes right here, he's kind of faking as though he could run or keep it himself or pass the ball off to Pacheco. And they have ran these plays before where it is a legitimate option and then Mahomes runs over the middle. So it's not crazy to think that he could keep the ball himself and run that way as well. So I'm not blaming Walker at all for being frozen right here. This is what Kansas City does to people, right? Especially rookies, is they put you in tough situations. Smart play by Andy Reid. And they're now in a situation where, because Walker has just stepped a little bit further in, Mahomes and Pacheco can take advantage. Watch as Mahomes does flip it to Pacheco. Pacheco's able to run up. He's able to pick up a first down. Good stuff by him. Good stuff by Kansas City in general to be able to pull something like that off. And that is exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs are capable of doing with Isiah Pacheco, is they put him in positions to succeed, but then he really succeeds in those positions. Like, once he got the ball, he was off. And that's the thing that I think was really surprising about Pacheco. This guy was a 7th round pick. No one really expected too much from him. A lot of times, 7th round running backs, you see that and say, okay, probably just a special teamer. No, in this scenario, maybe that's what they drafted him for, but he was really able to, when he got the ball, to really thrive. Like, a play like this is probably a great example, even though it's going to be a weird one. So it's going to be a run up the middle, and I'm not going to design the blocking concept or show the blocking concept on the screen because that's not the important part of this play. Watch as Pacheco's going to just run up the middle, and he kind of runs into his own guy, and sometimes when you run into your own guy, that can actually be the best thing to happen to you. Usually not. Usually it means you're going to get tackled for a loss, but sometimes what it does is it draws every defender further in. You see that the contained guy is now further in, and the player I've circled in black right there, a defensive back, he's moving further in as well because everyone's expecting it to be a run up the gut. Because again, they don't get the bird's eye view, right? They're playing on the field. Vision is different, and they see this. They're assuming that he's in the middle of the pile, not before the middle of the pile. And so if he can get outside the pocket, or outside, if it was quarterback outside the pocket, get to the outside. If he has speed, this could be a real dangerous play for Jacksonville. Watch how he does get there, and then watch just that acceleration. Again, the explosiveness was just so impressive. And what a display it was by Isiah Pacheco to be able to pull that kind of stuff off, and he can consistently do this kind of thing, which is why I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's a flash in the pan running back. I think this is something he's going to consistently do, and it's part of why when there were holes opening up for him, he was able to have success. Although there weren't always holes opening up for him. Let's talk about this play now. This is going to be in the passing game because, if you remember, if you look at the box score in the Cincinnati Bengals game, he was not getting a ton of yards. That was not the game that he was thriving in necessarily, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't still having success. And one of the ways he was doing it, the main way, was in the passing game, like a screen pass, for example. And this is a unique play where you see how it's going to work. The 3 offensive linemen, actually, center, left guard, and left tackle, all the guys lined up to the left of Mahomes or directly in front of Mahomes, will be blocking on this one. I mean, of course they'll be blocking, but you will be going downfield blocking, of course, is what I mean. Look at how when Mahomes takes the snap, he's going to flip the ball to Pacheco, and at this point, it's working. The offensive linemen are in front, but, Pacheco is faster than an offensive lineman, obviously, right? That's just what you expect out of a running back is, this is kind of one of those difficult things where if he slows down and lets the offensive lineman run, well, then a defensive lineman who's now past Pacheco and behind Pacheco could run forward and catch up with him. So it's the dilemma of, do you stay slow and let your offensive lineman run forward, or do you accelerate and get as far forward as you can, just say, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. Well, watch Pacheco. He's just going to go forward, and he is able to pick up way more yards than I think he would have had he stayed patient right there. He's able to get an explosive play on that one. And again, it's because of his own ability to accelerate quickly. If you're gonna just go, you have to be able to do it quickly. You have to really be able to go. You don't want to just go and only slightly outrun your offensive lineman. You have to do it by a lot, and he did on that play. Also, this play is this is absurd. I don't know how this happened, but this happened somehow. This was on film. This is not an AI football play. No, this really did happen where you're going to see that, Pacheco is going to start off just chipping an edge rusher and then running out to run a check down route. That's his job on this play. How about your tackle a little bit and then go, run to the flat, and if Mahomes doesn't love what he sees elsewhere, he'll flip it to you. Mahomes takes the snap. He does look elsewhere. Doesn't love what he sees. Maybe he could have thrown it to Kelsey, but let's just flip it to Pacheco here, who is going to really get nothing, maybe even lose a yard. Okay, what a disaster this play is. Great job by Cincinnati. They're all over this. I know what you're thinking watching this if you don't remember this play. You're thinking, there's no way that this is going to end up in a good play. Why are you showing this play? What are you going to do here? How does this end up in a good scenario for the Chiefs? Watch Pacheco somehow gets out of that situation and picks up a first down. I mean, that's a huge play for Kansas City. I mean, that's just a massive play. And this is the kind of thing that Pacheco was able to do, is he was able to really consistently make, at times, highlight reel level plays, which is absolutely what this was. And also in the Super Bowl, I made a whole video talking about what he did in the Super Bowl, so I'm not going to make one in, I'm not going to spend too much time in the Super Bowl with Pacheco for this video, but I still want to show a play because we got to talk about the other aspect, which is the offensive line, which of course, offensive line, they do all the hard work in the running game, don't always get the credit, but I like to give them the credit, and on this play, they deserve a ton of credit. You see on paper how it's supposed to work. There's just a bunch of one-on-one matchups across the board. So it's going to come down to, can they win their one-on-one matchups? As you see, they do win their one-on-one matchups. And with the only unblocked player being a Philadelphia Eagles linebacker who doesn't take a great route to Pacheco, there is now a hole for him to run through. And again, this is where the kind of good combination of Pacheco's acceleration with a good offensive line really is just, again, that's what you're looking for. When you're talking about trying to build a running game, this is exactly what you're looking for. Watch Pacheco really is able to squeeze through that hole, and then he's off. He's able to, again, pick up as many yards as possible on that play. He had a couple great runs in the Super Bowl, and he had a number of great runs in this postseason run, and to be honest, it's kind of crazy to think that with a 7th round running back, it's oftentimes not something you expect to be a key impact, but the reality is, I think this is a great example of the value of running backs and why you shouldn't draft a running back early or put too many resources into running backs, because running backs matter, and you can see that Pacheco, do they win the Super Bowl without Pacheco? I don't know. Maybe they still do, but I certainly can't say for certain that they do. However, at the same time, with that value, I mean, just the fact that I'm asking a question shows how valuable he is about that. But at the same time, you can get these guys in round 7. They spend a 1st round pick on a running back and a 7th round pick on a running back. The 7th round pick is the one that works out. Maybe just take a few flyers late in the draft instead of spending a 1st round pick on one, and hopefully you get one as good as Pacheco, who was awesome in this postseason run. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.